we're going to just kind of talk generally about advertising and what you guys can and can't do with your advertising. We got a little bit of brief from the auditors regarding advertising and websites and such like that. So we'll talk a little bit about that going forward. And the other thing we just wanted to kind of touch on is what you can and can't do as a realtor regarding to property management. And basically you can find tenants, but you really can't do anything other than that. You know, just in a general sense like that, you can't really handle the money, you can't do rentals. What you ought to be doing is referring those to somebody like Nan or Klaus or one of our property managers, and not waste your time on it. And I don't know, Nan, have you paid out a lot of referrals to the realtors referring business to you? Have you seen a lot of that, or that doesn't really happen a whole lot, does it? You're on mute again.
I don't really get referrals, to be honest. I'd happily take them. So I haven't yet, but I would happily take any referrals from anybody.
Yeah, so guys, yeah, for you, especially you new realtors, a lot of times I find you kind of chasing the red herring there, and you know, the BCFSA has allowed us to do a tenancy placement, and really maybe it's a little bigger in Ontario and things like that, and they do a little better with it, but it's not really prominent out here. We don't do it a lot, and what we normally do in the office when we get an inquiry like that is we refer it out to our property managers. And I think for you guys like Gavin, and I don't know who else is here, but I would refer that out to, you know, give Nan a call and say, hey, look, get a relationship with her going on. And if you have something come up, you know, for a tenant placement, pass it over to Nan. She's got all kinds of connections. She does that full time. She knows what's going on. She knows what's out there. She knows what the rates are. She knows all that stuff for you. Save you a lot of time. If she buys you a coffee or, I don't know, sends you a little referral, something or other, that's, you know, take it and move on, because you're better off doing your sales. And that could, you know, be reciprocated, because Nan's not a realtor. She can send, if somebody decides to sell, maybe she'll give you a call, and, you know, you can take the listing. So you're, you know, what you might have made of 500 or $1,000 could be 10 times that, you know, by doing the referrals. So basically what I'm saying is stay out of property management. It's not worth your time. Some of you have asked me, and the new guys have asked me, you know, what you ought to be doing. Should I take another license? Should I get a mortgage broker's license or a property manager license? And, you know, I'd say no, just do what you're doing and stick to real estate. It's a very good profession, and you can make a very good buck at it, but you really got to put your time and energy into that. If you're fiddling around, you know, showing properties to a prospective tenant, you know, you're not showing, you know, properties to a prospective buyer, and you know, the tenancy you might make $1,000 on, you know, if you're lucky, and if you get a sale, you'll make 10,000. So I mean, don't waste your time on you know, getting diversifying. I mean, if you're an experienced realtor like Sonny or somebody like that knows what they're doing, and they want to take that on, and they've already established themselves as a realtor, then by all means do so. And you know, some of our top property managers are successful realtors as well, but those guys have worked 20 years to become what they are. So for new realtors, just stick to what you're doing, and that's real estate, and don't be searching for properties and things like that. Refer them to our property manager. We've got a really robust property management team, and they're very good at what they do. They've got thousands, or I don't know how many doors we managing now, Mike.
I think it's about 870.
Yeah, so we're almost got a thousand rental units in our office alone. So I mean, there's at any one time there's probably a couple empty, and they might be able to help you with those too. So relative to that, just be careful with that. There is some information, not a lot, what you can and can't do with property management. Mike, we had that one fella go on helping his guy out and advertising his property on the MLS for rental, but again, it's a distraction. You know, we've got a new realtor advertising, you know, what he's doing is posting the listing for his client on the MLS, which is allowed, but you don't want to be getting the calls. You don't want to be dealing with the calls or anything like that. That should be referred directly to the owner, not to you. You shouldn't be, you know, paying the bills for them. You shouldn't be, you know, doing anything other than that. And then you come into a conflict there as well, because if you're giving the owner agency, then really you can't give the you know, the tenant agency, and then you've got a conflict of how are you going to get paid for that? Is the owner going to pay you? Is the tenant going to pay you? The tenant's not going to pay you. Most tenants are broke. They have enough to pay their deposit, and that's all. They can't be paying you another half a month's rent. So, you know, that, you know, those are the kind of things that people don't think of. So bottom line is, don't waste your time on that. Move forward. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that. We'll kind of get into maybe working on advertising. And if you go to BCFSA's website, and I'm going to share my screen with you. Hopefully I have it up here just a sec, if you'll bear with me. Advertising checklist. So I'm gonna open this one up and we'll go here. I think that's the right one there. Does this see, can you guys see the team team? This is the team stuff, but can you see team names and all that? So this is kind of what I was reviewing online, basically, and what we got cited for with a lot of our guys on there, including our property managers, if you will, is that you really have to identify let me try and kind of encapsulate this to make sense to you guys. What they're trying to do is make it clear to the public who you're working for and what entity you're working for, and if there's a problem, basically they can come and complain. So, you know, if it's you know, 1, 2, 3, whatever property management, that really doesn't, you got to have the company's name on there. It's got to say Century 21 in Town Realty, and it has to have our full name on it, and it has to be fairly prominent. Now, what our problem is, well, what Mike's problem is what's prominent, and where we keep going back at them. You know, write it down. How big does it have to be? How many? You know, what's the text size? What's all this? But they're all flimsy about it, and what it does is it lets people change things. So what the realtors do naturally, everybody wants to promote themselves, put their name out there. They put the real estate name, the real estate company working for, as small as possible, the very bottom of the page, like 3 pages back and all that stuff. So that if somebody were to look at that page, they may not know that it's what the company, the corporation, or the who they're actually working for and who to call and complain. Because if you have some of the team names are out there, but for property management, you guys don't have team names yet. They haven't made any rules like that, and that's what Dan and I were discussing. They have all these rules and other things, but they don't have any rules on, you know, specific rules on property managers, which is a bit of a problem. You know, we need some guidance on that, and Mike and I are always looking for that. And we kept telling the guys, well, give us some guidance on it, write it down, send it to us, and we'll put it out there. But if you don't write it down and you're willy-nilly about it, you know, it has to be prominent. What is prominent? You know, prominent to them is subjective, and prominent to me and you and the realtors is different. You know, prominent to a realtor is little tiny. Prominent to BCFSA is huge. So basically you have to have, and this is, if you search advertising BCFSA, this is all there for you. So I didn't send any of this out, but you should all really kind of, you know, review this going forward. And advertising checklist kind of thing is what I was reading this morning going forward. And, you know, basically clearly display the brokerage's name, name of the licensee, team name. Now you have to use your proper name. Like, for example, I have, my name is Douglas Foulds, but I go by Doug Foulds. So I had to register Doug Foulds with BCFSA so that they don't get confused. Whoever complains about me or wants to complain, they can look up Doug or Douglas Foulds, and either way, I'll pop up on BCFSA and it can be a complaint. So make sure your name is correctly, clearly display the brokerage's name. So Century 21 in Town Realty, it's limited, right, Mike? I shouldn't have to ask this, but LTD. So you have to have that displayed on your website and all your advertising out there. And it kind of, when I read through this, it's all advertising. So your print advertising, your signs, everything else. Well, if you drive around the, the neighborhood and you look at these signs, half of them, I can't tell which realtor really, and they're kind of right in this one here, and it kind of makes me mad. You drive around and you look at their for sale signs that are out there, their sandwich boards and such, and they don't identify the real estate company they're working for. It's Bill Smith, team 2000 or whatever it is, whatever he is team name, and it doesn't say what company they're with. So if there were a complaint to be made about it, you wouldn't know who to complain about, because it's not identifying that. And that's the same with the team names. The team names can't have real estate in it or realty in it. They can't be misleading the public. They're part of the corporation. So for property managers, for realtors, everybody in the office here, we have to clearly display Century 21 in town realty on all of our advertising and make sure that it's clear to people who we're with and who you're with, going forward. So please make a note of that. And well, they say prominently, but if you go down to their little thing, what's good here, it's right. This isn't the two principals. It looks like are the actual realty incorporation, but they've got it prominently in the top of the advertisement there, which is kind of what they want. What they were insinuating to us is they would prefer is that the Century 21 in town realty is in the first page of your advertising of your website or whatever it is. So if you don't already have it, make sure it is on the first page. I don't mind if it's at the bottom. It doesn't say it has to be at the top, but make sure it's there. Make sure it's clearly visible at the bottom. You can put it at the bottom of the ad right here, Century 21 in town realty, and that kind of thing. But make sure it's very prominent on your advertising so there's no misleading things there. If you're using a team name, you can make sure the team is registered with BCFSA, and they have certain guidelines. You can call in or you can even ask. You can go online and find the team name, and they have the regulations for how to name your team and all that stuff and what has to happen. We're having a bit of an issue. They're coming at us for the teams as well. In that, I'm just going to stop sharing this quickly here, but. What they're saying is that some of us are acting like teams. We look like a team. We kind of advertise like a team, but you're not a team. So you get a couple of realtors in the office that are working together, and you start putting ads out there and doing things together going forward. And you haven't registered a team, but you're kind of looking like a team. You put an ad out there, and Sonny and I had that conversation where they wanted to put everybody's name on it. On the ad, and you got to be careful what you're doing there. If you look like a team and BCFSA picks up on it, they may want you to register as a team, and you may not want to do that. We all don't want to be a team on the office here. I'm just going to put Daisy on mute here. Still getting some feedback. I don't know where it's coming from, but anyway. So if you're thinking about registering a team, fine, go ahead and register it. And just make sure you do the right protocol. There's a form for it, and you got to apply for the name, and they got to approve the name. It can't have real estate or realty in there. It can't be misleading to the general public going forward. Because Century 21 is liable for you. I am liable for you. Mike's liable for you. Heather's liable for you. For anything you're doing out there, and they want us to be identifiable on your advertising going forward. So that's just a heads up for you guys. Just careful about that. Careful about your property management stuff, what you're doing as far as realtors go. Make sure that as a realtor, you can only do so many things for that. You can, maybe collect a deposit and give it to the owner, but you certainly can't collect rent. You can't organize, repair people on their behalf, that kind of thing. So refer those off to one of our property managers going forward on that one there. If you're use your proper name and use the Century 21 name and logo, it's I mean we spend well, Century 21 spends, I don't know, Mike, how much their budget is, but I would suspect hundreds of thousands of dollars across Canada and across the world. It's probably millions to promote Century 21, and it's a valuable brand. And I wouldn't hesitate using it at all and putting it on all my advertising, because the chances are that the general public will recognize Century 21 and they won't we'll recognize Bill Smith. And that's your credibility. That gives you the credibility. That brand name is like Coca-Cola. It's like the Royal Bank. It's like Mercedes-Benz. It's a quality name. It's a quality product, and it says something to people out there. And make sure you use it to your advantage. Don't be. I think we had one guy that, I don't know what they did. They made all their signs. I can't remember what it was, but it was they made all their signs pink or something like that, which is a great advertising. But they missed all the they missed all of the promotion they got from the national brand. They just wiped that out, kind of thing, and nobody could tell they're with a national brand, kind of thing. So think about your advertising, get some professional advice, and I think any professional advertiser will tell you, use that brand to your advantage, and certainly put your name in prominent there and whatever your team name is and all that other stuff. But make sure that you're using the Century 21 brand, because it's recognized around the world.